Hey, this is Andrew Brown, and in this video, what I want to do is utilize AWS App Runner. Now, I've used this service a few times in the past. I actually don't particularly like this service. I find it to be too simplistic, and I found it like hard to connect to database and do other things with it. Um, but it is something that you can utilize, and I know some people that do like it. But it is supposed to be the easiest option. So what we'll do is go ahead and give this a go. Um, we can utilize this via the UI, which is probably the most ideal way. I just don't like using the UI because AWS is going to change it on me, and I really don't want my videos to go out of date when they're not. So I guess we'll do it via ClickOps, even though I really don't want to do it that way. I'm in North Virginia because this does not run in CA Central. That's usually, I do everything in CA Central 1 because that's near me. And I had to do ECR replication of my image from CA Central 1 to US East 1. So if you haven't watched the ECR videos, which you should have, do that first, okay? So let's take a look at our options. So here we have the repository type. So we have a container registry or source repo. So it can build or pull from a source code repo. But I'm going to do a container registry, and we have two options here, ECR, ECR public. And so what we'll do is browse, and we will select our app, and we'll choose the latest tag. We have a couple options here. We have start each deployment yourself using App Runner or automatic. I think that there might be a pricing difference based on what we choose here. Let's take a look here. With automatic deployments, it's $1 per month, so it's up to you. I'm just going to do manual because I don't really need to do automatic here. It's totally fine. And I'm going to use an existing service role if one exists. There doesn't, so I'll go create a new one here. And so it's going to create that service role if I've yet to create it. And we'll just call this one app. And we really don't need a lot of compute here, so I'm going to go down to 0.5. Okay. There is no nvars to set, so that's totally fine. There are no secrets to set. But this is actually nice that they have these options here because before this was extremely difficult. So this is nice that they have those policies right there. We have auto scaling. I'll leave this as default because I don't want to change anything. There's only one version here. So that is totally fine. We have our health check, which is totally fine. We'll leave that alone. We have security permissions here. The only thing I don't know is like what port should this app be running on, because I figured like we would have to tell it what port it's on. It doesn't like the name app flask here. Oh, here it is. Your service port for this is going to be 4567. There we go. And we don't need to do a start command because it's in a container and the container tells it what to do. We could add X-ray tracing, which to me is not very interesting, but we'll go ahead and hit next. And so this hopefully should work. Again, the service is supposed to be dead simple, but when I was trying to use it for more complex use cases, not even that complex, but just attaching to a database and other things like that, then I was running into trouble. So we'll give this a moment to get running. So we're just going to wait here and see what happens. Notice that we have our domain here, so it should be interesting if this gets running. Hopefully it's super easy. All right, after a short little wait, our service is deployed. Says we have our public endpoint. We'll go ahead and take a look at our domain and see what we have. Now we should be able to type in API/hello (name), and I'm just going to put Andrew plus Brown because we can't have spaces. And so we get information back there. So that is working exceptionally well. I don't know if this is running in production mode because I'm noticing that we have this little pretty print, and I don't know if that is part of Chrome or not. Normally when you do a production app, there is some minor configurations you have to do. So just understand that this is not a production app, and we don't want to keep it lying around for very long. Okay. Apparently you can attach custom domains here. If we had X-ray on here, it might show some information. Again, I don't care about this too much. I just want to keep this very simple. It might be a good idea for us to try this now just using the CLI because it's just good practice to do that. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and delete this, and let's go take a look at how we can implement this using the CLI, which shouldn't take too long. The reason, again, why I do this is because sometimes exam questions will show you code, and if you learn the API, you get more exposure to the API, the better you will get at remembering this stuff, and it'll make your exams super easy. So I'm going to go ahead and type in readme.rd. We'll go ahead and type in App Runner AWS CLI here. And there should be some commands for it. We'll go here to version 2. I don't think App Runner has its own CLI. Let's just take a look just in case it does. And I'm just, again, checking if it has its own. No, it doesn't. Okay, great. So we'll go back over to here. And so we have quite a few options. And we'll go ahead and say create service. And I believe this is how we would, yeah, create this. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. Okay. And there is a way to do inline, but I'm just going to go ahead and make a file here. We'll just say input JSON. Not the best name for one, but that's what we'll call it. I'm going to go ahead and just copy this, and we'll take a look at our configuration and see how we can work with it. Okay. So Python app was actually the name of what we had, which is just kind of eerily similar. Just coincidence, I think, there. We aren't providing this from a GitHub source. This is coming from ECR, so we're not going to want to set that. So we'll take this one out. We don't want auto deployment, so I'm going to say false. This isn't coming from a code repo, so we will take this out as well. Okay, and so there must be some other option. I think it was like 1 gigabyte we were using, but there must be some kind of other option for configuration here. Let's go look and see if we can find it. So what I'm trying to find here, image repository, that's what we want. Okay, so I'm going to grab this part of the code, and we'll bring this on over. Okay, and then we'll replace this here. We don't have any runtime environments. We don't have a start, but we do have a port, which is 4567. We don't have any secrets, so we don't have to worry about that right now. And this one's just going to be ECR. And then we need the image identifier. It'd be nice if we had an example of that. We do, so it's just that. Okay, that's not too bad. We'll go over to ECR. And I just again double check. I believe that it is that. This just doesn't have the tag on it. Notice this one has the tag on the end of it. So we'll go back over to this. And I'll say latest. And that looks fine. And I think that's all we need. But again, I just want to check carefully. 3 gigabytes. We don't want 3 gigabytes. We don't even need one vCPU. So I think that's what we need to make this work. And I want to go back and then cd into App Runner. And we'll go ahead. Just make this one line. We don't need this as 2 lines. And I have to specify the region because I'm in defaulted in US East 1. Okay. And we'll go ahead and see if that works. And so it doesn't like something. Something is wrong. Let's hit enter and see what it says. Missing required input source configuration. So we'll go back over to here. I don't see why we have the image repository. Must be of the service name or source configuration, instance configuration. Unknown parameter, instance configuration. Oh, here it says it doesn't know what that is. Let's go back and see if I mess this up. Oh, so it's source configurations inside of that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this again. I apparently made a mess of this. So I like YAML files. They're easier to make sense of. And so this one is actually inside the source configuration. Okay. And then I believe that that's our problem here. Okay. So we'll go ahead and give this a go and see if that fixes our issue. Hit enter. Unknown parameter and source configuration, instance configuration. Are you sure? Because it's right here. I'll look at it again. And what I want to do is I just want to pare this down a bit. Oh, it's actually on the outside. Okay, fair enough. So I thought it was saying that it wasn't there and so it wasn't working, but I guess we'll find out here in just a moment. So we'll go ahead and try this again. Still doesn't like it. Unknown parameter, CPU must be CPU, memory, or instance. So we'll say CPU. And notice that we're using the example that is provided by us and it's still having a hard time. And we didn't provide the instance roll in here, so that actually is something we probably want. Oh, it's in the authentication information here. Okay. So we'll go back up to this. And we are going to want to provide our service role here. So let's go back over to this. I don't remember what it was called, so I'm just going to quickly, I'm not going to create it here. I just want to see what it was called. And it's called App Runner ECR Role Access. So we'll go over to our roles. Roles anywhere, that's a new feature. Never heard of that one. I think I have an idea what it's for though. But anyway, what we'll do is go grab this, and I need its ARN. So we'll grab that ARN. We'll go back over to our code, and we're going to paste this into here. Okay, we'll paste this into here. And so that should be a sufficient way for us to get started. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And it still doesn't like it. It doesn't like the combination because the combo matters. And I think it's because I have to lower the other amount here. There's like a ratio that you have to meet. You'll find this is the same with like Fargate as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this is using Fargate underneath. And so that's what we're matching here. So I'm going to look at like App Runner, ECR, compute, and memory ratios. Yeah, it would be like 0.25 to something. So it supports this. It seems like this is a lot like Fargate. It makes me think that it's running Fargate underneath. That's probably what it's doing. So what I'm going to do is just change this to 0.25. I'm just taking a guess that that's what it is. I just can't remember what we set it as before. And now it looks like we're in good shape. So it is now attempting to deploy. And we'll hit close on here. We'll go back over to App Runner. Click into this, and we'll just wait for this to deploy, okay? All right, looks like our container is running again. Let's go ahead and take a look and make sure it works. Remember, it's API/hello !name equals Andrew plus Brown, because we can't have spaces. And there we go, it's working again. So I think I'm satisfied with that we've gotten some good practice here with it because we deployed it twice. Let's go ahead and delete it. And so, yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next one, okay? Ciao.